Hey, my name is Blair Barefoot. I'm in English 201 with Nicole Drana, and my video essay is about bullying.
Say no to bullying. End bullying.
So, as I said, my topic is bullying. And when I was researching this and just knowing how serious bullying is, it's a national problem. We all could say that. But diving into some more research and articles about bullying, it gets more specific. Some of my articles talked about the long-lasting effects that bullying has. How school counselors need to be required to impact more and be able to respond and understand the types of bullying that kids see, the various different definitions of bullying. Honestly, I mean, you think that we all know what just bullying is, simple, and yes, we do, but a kid in elementary school is probably going to explain, and there's proven that they explain bullying differently than a kid in high school would. You can look at the need for different bullying assessments and methods and preventions that mental health professionals need to look into. So, like I was saying, most of the research that I found really was able to look at the broad term of bullying, look at the different aspects that it brings, how it affects people mentally, where is it, who does it, all that different types. But the gap in the conversation that I continued to find was there was no action step. There wasn't okay, here's the information, now let's do this to implement into these schools and these kids and counselors and mental health professionals that are in the school system that can help. So my main purpose of this video is to give more insight to adults of how kids and adolescents, how we see bullying truly throughout all different stages, to provide a more specific definition, and then also to bring the positive findings that we have found in that research to give assessments and give actual action steps, ways that we can implement bullying prevention into schools and start to reduce the number and limit bullying, just to provide awareness and not only just recognize that bullying is there, but do something about it.
These next few images will show you a variety of different types of bullying. Because there are so many different types of bullying and between the different ages, that's how it has been difficult to find a uniform definition between adolescents and adults. Most of the research has concluded that there can't be, and it's hard to figure out a specific definition, but I think it's important to understand how for adults to understand how kids see it and kids to understand how adults see it. So there needs to be more research and proven facts about it. To give you an overview of one of the most important claims that I found in my research, there was an article written by Frank Adams and Gloria Lawrence, and they focused on the long-lasting effects into college that victims of bullying have. So, for example, they found a lot of bullying in the middle school and high school, and they found that whether it was verbal or physical, cyberbullying, any type, that those effects made the person, it lasted with them and as they went into college. So a lot of the results that they found was that the negative effects was that associated with them being victims continued into their college years and made them perform poorly in their academic work, often led to dropping out of school and even messing up relationships with academic people, whether it was other students or teachers. They just acted differently because of their bullying. Some other interesting reports that I read dealt with school counselors and how they can visualize and recognize bullying. So they were given, they looked at how counselors respond to different types of bullying. And often it was different because every person obviously has a different view and definition of bullying, and that's the issue. There was another article that tied into that focused on adolescents' definition of bullying and how they created that definition because of their age, their gender, and their own experiences. And so the gap is that adolescents often see bullying in a certain way because of whatever they've experienced and their particular characteristics. And then adults and school counselors and mental health professionals that are in the school system are not seeing it the same way, or they don't recognize it as often, or sometimes don't even know how to deal with it at that point. And so there should be assessments and methods to preventing that first off, but also being able to recognize it for adults. And so, like I was saying, that gap is between the kids and the adults that we have to be able to figure out and understand. So that's what I hope to do. The truth is that it's going to be difficult to find frequent themes in anybody's definition of bullying, whether it's children, kids in college, or adults. But some of the results found that the junior class students who are first, second, and third years classified the nature of bullying as mean. So kids obviously see it as mean because that's a term that is frequent and easy for them to use, whereas adults can see the worser effects, the more difficult and mental side of it. So something important to look at when trying to think about the methods of preventing and recognizing bullying is bystanders. Pepler and Craig in 1995 found that bystanders are present in at least 85% of bullying episodes. And I know that seems like a lot, and it seems like so long ago, but the important thing is that bystanders are crucial in bullying incidents, and they have so much potential to change that experience for somebody. And so when we're trying to implement bullying awareness and prevention, we really need to talk to the kids and hear their side of it. Encourage them, obviously, to report and talk to an adult, but we also want them to understand how crucial they can be in changing someone else's bullying situation if they're just a bystander. And if we target the bystanders because there's such a high population of them, then that can really help reduce the spread of bullying.
The deck is stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me.
So as you have learned, there are many different types of bullying, and there's bullying all over the U.S., especially in the school systems. And I think if we can get it under control in the school systems, it starts with even young ages, but all throughout education, we can limit and reduce bullying as a nation. Well, we kind of talked about that there's a gap in the conversation of how to come to a uniform definition of bullying, because many people are recognizing that, okay, kids and adolescents, kids and then adults see it differently. And so I think one thing that we can really do to make an action on that and figure that out is for kids and adults to just start talking about it, open the conversation. And most schools would probably say that they're doing that, but the truth is they're really not. Most schools do have bullying awarenesses and preventions, and adults will go and speak about bullying, but it's really the conversation of learning to what a kid thinks about it and how they can describe it is where we really can grow as a nation. And I also wanted to provide some methods and tools that schools can use and start implementing right now in their systems to eliminate bullying. And we found that self-reporting scales, student interviews, and student observations are all recommended to assess students' perspectives on bullying and understanding how they recognize specific types of bullying in their school setting. There's also child behavior checklists and behavior assessments that obviously assess bullying behaviors in kids, and that's something that adults can use to assess those behaviors. And then an important thing is to have multiple informants and multiple methods to confirm and assess bullying. We don't just want one source or one tool used. The more that we can use, the better. And something for adults thinking about in the school system, training should really be considered and completed for counselors and mental health professionals that are working to eliminate bullying and work with kids who are suffering from bullying and are victims right now. I think instead of just having regular adults doing this based off their own perspective and views, if we have a trained professional in the schools, that will really help and benefit. Thanks for watching. The tools and methods provided to you are from the American School Counselor Association article written by Jamelia Blake, and stopbullying.gov also has great information provided about ending bullying.